What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. I got a little bit of extra for you. It is June 24th, 2022. I am JD from New York, as always, coming to you from the OTS venue. Thank you guys so very much for joining me on your Friday afternoons, wherever you may be. Bruce Prichard is the head of talent relations. John Laurinaitis out. The WWE Locker Room is not pleased at all about Bruce Prichard taking that role, and I have the reason why they don't want Bruce at all as head of talent relations. Stephanie McMahon, she has more power than we all originally thought, myself included. Apparently, she held a huge WWE corporate meeting, and she is definitely in charge, as the report coming in from Dave Meltzer states on Stephanie McMahon. We'll go over what was stated in that meeting and what Dave Meltzer said on Stephanie McMahon. Triple H, directly responsible for NXT 1.0, the black and gold. We may see a resurgence on Tuesday night in NXT. If Triple H and him being back has anything to do with it, he held a backstage meeting with the NXT roster claiming that he was back. Is this one of the major moves that Stephanie McMahon did in her role right now as interim CEO of WWE? We'll go over that and what that means and how much power Triple H does have, since now he is apparently returning to NXT. I got Io Shirai news, I got NXT news, I got Veer Mahan news and how WWE wants to bring him up through the ranks. I got a lot of news right here on OTS Extra, so make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Make sure you guys go check out all the other content on the channel. There is plenty of it. Extras, live streams, you name it. It is all on the homepage right now if you missed anything so far this week. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206 on Twitter and Instagram. Now on Cameo as well. All the links to my social media updated right down in the description below. I will be in Chicago this Sunday for the AEW New Japan Forbidden Door pay-per-view. I will be there live inside the United Center. I will be live streaming the post-show media scrum after the show is over, and I will have the review right here on Off the Script Monday afternoon, so make sure you guys keep up to date on everything that's going on. I will be in Chicago on Sunday afternoon if you guys want to come and hang out with me at the Ogden, a few blocks away from the United Center. We'll have some whiskey, we'll have some food, and then we'll all walk over to the United Center. So if you guys want to be a part of the OTS VIP meetup, that is 3:30 p.m. Central Time at the Ogden, right before the Forbidden Door pay-per-view. So I hope to see most of you VIPs there hanging out with your, obviously, cold beverages. Guys, let's get into the news. I got some NXT news. Gonna start off with Io Shirai and Zoe Stark. Yes, I know you guys don't watch NXT. I unfortunately still do. I like to keep up to date on who's who and what's going on, and to see the progress of those that I actually do like there. Io is definitely one of the people there that I genuinely enjoy. Dave Meltzer reported in the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter that Shirai and Zoe Stark, who have both been out with injuries, are expected to be back relatively soon. Stark has been out of action since October, when she suffered a torn ACL and meniscus in a three-way tag team ladder match where she and Shirai were defending the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. On the flip side, Io Shirai's been out with an unknown injury. Nobody knows the extent of her injuries. Io teamed with Kaylee Ray in this year's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Tournament, where they won it to earn a tag team title shot against Toxic Attraction. And then WWE flipped the script on everybody. Instead of going ahead and giving them a tag team title opportunity, they turned that title opportunity coming out of the Dusty Cup into individual women's championship title opportunities for both Io and Kaylee Ray against Mandy Rose, making it a fatal four-way at Stand and Deliver with Cora Jade. It really kind of defeated the purpose of having a women's Dusty Tag Team Classic And it only really added on top of what everybody, including me, feels, that the women's tag team division is fucking terrible. And the women's tag team titles, useless and irrelevant. And nobody needs them on NXT. And nobody really needs them on the main roster. So that's what happened with her. And that was in Dallas, like I said, at a fatal four-way during Stand and Deliver against Mandy Rose. I don't really care about Zoe Stark. I know WWE was high on Zoe Stark when we first saw her on NXT, when it was still 1.0, when it was still black and gold. They were very high on her. They were giving her matches against then Toni Storm, and they were giving her matches against, a lot of prominently featured women on the show. They wanted to get her to a point where she was going to be somebody that you could look at as the next big thing in the division. I don't really see that in Zoe Stark. She's good, but I think she lacked character. And I think she lacked charisma. But Io Shirai, we all love Io Shirai. Whatever Zoe Stark doesn't have, Io has all of it. And I don't think NXT 2.0 really should be the home of Io Shirai anymore. I honestly don't think the WWE should be the home of Io Shirai anymore. I think she's kind of overstayed her welcome there. And when she comes back, do you see her fitting into the mold of NXT 2.0? I know I don't. She's black and gold through and through. Maybe she stays. And if she stays, is Triple H going to be in charge? These are the questions that I have. Because I know that woman doesn't want to be a part of 2.0. Everybody that is like her has already gone on and left. So what is she going to do there if Triple H is not there in charge? That's going to be something to keep an eye on. Is Triple H going to be in charge? And is he going to keep Io in his grasp on his roster? And is she going to find that success that she found on Black and Gold in 2.0? I think she should be on the main roster. I really do. I think she could be a blowaway, absolute standout on the main roster. Matches with Bianca and Bayley and Becky and Charlotte and anybody else that you want to put into that discussion. But I don't think WWE is really going to appreciate Io Shirai if she does make it to the main roster. I think that they'll look at Io not speaking English very well. I think they'll look at Io as being another Black and Gold call-up that was a Triple H project. We don't want that up here. I think they'll look at Io and maybe say she's too old. She doesn't fit the current model of what we look for as far as women performers are concerned. There'll be some fucking excuse. Meanwhile, she's one of the best women's performers on the entire planet. So if you can't find a role for somebody like that, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. I think it's a fucking crime. Io Shirai, very excited to see her back. Zoe Stark, I don't really give a shit. But two injured WWE stars returning to NXT as of right now, relatively soon on Tuesday night. Moving on, man. Veer Mahan. We got news on Veer Mahan, and WWE is using a very well-known entity on the main roster to get him to where he needs to be. Dave Meltzer reported in the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter that WWE is using Bobby Roode as somebody who can be a good teacher and mentor to Veer Mahan. Meltzer wrote, and I quote, WWE are doing Roode versus Mahan on all the recent house show events, even though both are heels, basically with the idea of Roode being able to be a good teacher for Veer. A few weeks ago, it was reported that WWE had paired Roode up with Omos for a similar reason, so it's clear that WWE thinks highly of Roode as a veteran worker. After being off television since April, Roode and Ziggler returned to television a few weeks ago to confront Omos and MVP. And since then, WWE has dropped whatever was planned there, obviously for good reason. Nobody wants to see it. Nobody gives a shit about Omos. Now, Bobby Roode is not a fucking miracle worker, man. What he is able to do with Veer, I don't think that would be the same thing for Omos. I think you're really, really stretching it there with Omos and thinking that Roode's going to get him to the next level. I don't think anything at this point, at this stage, is going to help Omos. He's a lost cause. He's already hit his ceiling. He is very uncharismatic. He's very boring. Nothing about him stands out at all, except like he's a big guy. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about Omos, man. It's terrible television. And I said this on Monday. Omos, and every time he's featured, honestly, and I can't stand him either, it makes me miss Braun Strowman. Because honestly, Braun Strowman had a lot more charisma, a lot more athleticism. I thought Braun Strowman was better in the ring and more athletic than Omos. What is Omos? What is Omos? Omos, to me, on the main roster, is a failure. Bobby Roode, on the other hand, I honestly think this is a great thing. I'm glad that they're going out there and finding ways to get Veer to the next level. I like Veer a lot. I think Veer could be something great. I think Veer has a lot of potential. I love the fact that WWE has taken him and they got rid of the fucking terrible way that they were giving him promos, growling and snarling and fucking breathing heavy like, oh my God, this is the typical WWE Vince McMahon heel. You gotta snarl and growl in front of the fucking camera and inaudibly speak fucking words and grunts. So I'm glad they actually have him sounding like a normal human being because he's a likable fucking guy and he's a good looking guy too. So I'm glad that they're giving him a little bit more of a human presence instead of some fucking wild animal on Monday night. Is this gonna work? I don't know. I hope so. But I like the fact that WWE is taking initiative in this and giving Veer Bobby Roode to work with to get him to that next level. Bobby Roode, on a side note, I honestly think Bobby Roode still has a lot to give. I'd love if WWE actually get off their fucking high horse and stop the stupidity and put Bobby Roode back on television. You got a quality hand like Bobby Roode who could be a great fucking heel. Glorious Bobby Roode was one of the best heels of the modern era in WWE with the work he did in NXT, man. He absolutely fucking killed it. He was the number one thing on that brand when he was NXT champion. That was great. WWE got rid of that because, it was too popular. His theme music was too popular. He's a heel, but people are singing along to their theme songs. I'm Vince McMahon, damn it. I can't have people and these marks singing his theme. Give me a break. Give me a break. You got somebody like that and you're not using him to the fullest of his potential right now, and he could be just as good if you just let him be. But I like the fact that they're taking initiative with Veer and trying to get him to the next level because I do think he has a ton. Just for the lone AEW news and note here going into the Forbidden Door, Jon Moxley's wrestling Hiroshi Tanahashi for the interim AEW World Championship. Obviously, CM Punk is still the world champion. I'm assuming that when CM Punk gets back to television and is healthy, he will be going one-on-one with Jon Moxley for the real AEW World Championship. So Meltzer is reporting that even though we're getting Tanahashi versus Jon Moxley for the interim championship, that wasn't the original plan for Jon Moxley going into the Forbidden Door. Actually, Meltzer's reporting the original plan for Moxley was to be in a six-man tag team match. And the six-man tag team match, if you guys watch AEW Dynamite, that was announced on Wednesday, is Shota Umino, Wheeler Yuta, and Eddie Kingston versus Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, and Minoru Suzuki. That will take place at the Forbidden Door. Meltzer is reporting that Moxley was supposed to be in that six-man tag team match, and that is why Umino is there, and they called him Jon Moxley's protege. So it was supposed to be Moxley, Yuta, and Eddie Kingston. I don't think Eddie Kingston's in the Blackpool Combat Club. I think he's just there by association because he's good friends with Moxley. But it would have been some of the Blackpool Combat Club versus Jericho, Sammy, and obviously a New Japan presence there in Minoru Suzuki. So that was the original plan for Jon Moxley, which would have been fine. But now he's in a lot more of an important situation with that AEW World Championship, crowning the interim champion against Hiroshi Tanahashi. And I don't know how you guys feel about this match going into Sunday. From what I saw in my own eyes and in my point of view, I don't know if Hiroshi Tanahashi looked good to you guys on Wednesday. To me, he did not look good. To me, almost he looked like somebody that should not be in the main event of a major pay-per-view for a world championship. I don't know what it is. Maybe I don't watch New Japan. I don't watch New Japan regularly. I don't watch Hiroshi Tanahashi regularly. Maybe what you guys saw is what Hiroshi Tanahashi brings to the table on an everyday basis. But what I watched, I didn't really think it was something that is going to give me excitement going into Sunday's show. The way he moved and the sloppiness of the way he was moving. Maybe it was butterflies. Maybe it was nerves. I don't know. But I hope that they kill it. And I hope that they deliver a quality main event match after what will be a very long night. We're looking at a 10-match card on Sunday night. I hope that main event kills it. And I hope that both guys bring their absolute best on Sunday night. But that was the original plan for Jon Moxley going into the Forbidden Door pay-per-view. Triple H. Let's get into the good stuff now, man. Triple H, Bruce, and Stephanie McMahon. Triple H is expected to get a bigger role in WWE. Dave Meltzer is reporting after the news broke this week that Triple H held a backstage roster meeting at the Performance Center, claiming to the roster that he's back. I have within good reason and people that I know that are in the know that stated Triple H did indeed hold this meeting and that he verbally buried the direction creatively of NXT 2.0, claiming that he's back. Whatever the fuck that means, I don't know. Dave Meltzer is reporting in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that there had been talk before the Vince McMahon situation that Triple H was going to be back in a bigger role. So this return was likely not related to the investigation, but the timing would indicate that this move could be related in some form to Stephanie McMahon taking over as the interim CEO of World Wrestling Entertainment. Triple H said that there would be changes happening, but did not elaborate on what those changes would be. Triple H obviously stepped away. Health issues, the heart issues, they forced him out of power. Well before that, I don't give a shit what anybody says. The heart attack and the heart issues were not what led to him going away. It was the fact that there were plans to change the overall NXT product anyway, and Triple H was automatically, the one guy that they were going to blame everything on for failing to combat AEW, for not beating AEW. You think what you're doing is right, and you think what you're doing here is the future of the company. Bruce and Nick Khan and John Laurinaitis and Vince McMahon, they all walked into the Performance Center, and everybody thought it was just a friendly visit to see what was going on. That was a strategic move to look at everything going on and to wipe clean everything of the Performance Center and NXT of what we once loved about the entire project and the entire brand in Orlando. Triple H was removed from power, all of his power stripped. Bruce Prichard and Vince McMahon took over. You can clearly watch this show and get a sense that it is a Bruce and Vince production. It is nothing more than Monday Night Raw Light on Tuesday. The matches have suffered tremendously as far as in-ring quality is concerned. The storylines suck. The characters, they are very hit and miss. I'm not saying that there's nothing to like about the show. There are several talent on that roster that I actually quite enjoy and I want to see succeed. But the overall vibe of the show, it is absolutely a disgrace to come out of NXT Black and Gold, and this is the product that we get. And Triple H knows it. And Triple H knows it. He knows what he did was the way, and he looks at this shit, and he knows that this shit sucks. So with Bruce and Vince running the show, people think Shawn Michaels is running the show. He's not. It's Bruce and Vince McMahon overseeing everything on Tuesday night. Now Bruce is the head of talent relations. He's replaced John Laurinaitis. He's as good as gone. He's fired. They say administrative leave, but he's fired. No doubt about it. So I brought up the situation of Bruce wearing too many hats in WWE. This could be something that he never wanted. I don't think he ever wanted it. He did it because it's Vince McMahon's baby now, so he's got to do whatever Vince McMahon asks. He didn't want it to begin with. He doesn't give a shit about Tuesday night. They'll worry about Tuesday night when Tuesday night gets called up to the main roster. Then they'll have real fun and bury whatever Triple H built up in NXT. That's what they get their kicks off of. That's what they get their rocks off of. They love it. It's like a fucking drug to them. Oh, Triple H built this guy up. Let's call him up. Let's bury him to show everybody how Triple H sucks. That was the whole process with NXT Black and Gold to the main roster. Bruce is wearing too many hats. He's wearing too many hats. This could be a mixture of that and Stephanie McMahon taking over power, and her power is immediately being felt. Obviously, I said this during the big live stream we did when the news broke. You don't think Stephanie McMahon loved Black and Gold? You don't think Stephanie McMahon backed her husband on everything he did there? The women's revolution was born there. The direction of WWE and the future of the company should have been born there until they killed it. Triple H and his vision and the quality of shows should have been the way of WWE life. You don't think that woman, watching her husband do everything to make a better WWE, you don't think she's fucking pissed and you don't think she's upset? So if anything happens coming out of this, it could be a direct correlation to Stephanie McMahon taking power as the CEO and using that power for good. I hope this is not the only change. I hope this is true. I hope this is not the only change. Bruce Prichard being promoted doesn't sound like a Stephanie McMahon move. It sounds like a Vince McMahon move. John Laurinaitis being fired, that was coming no matter who was in charge because he's just a fucking cancer. And so was Bruce Prichard. But the front office needs to change. There needs to be a balance of power in WWE. Vince appoints everybody that he knows and gives them more and more and more power, more roles on top of more roles on top of more roles. You can't have the same group of people running the fucking show with that mentality backstage. Nobody is going to like it, and the shows are going to suffer for it. So if this is a Stephanie McMahon move and Triple H does get more power in the company, I'm all for it. But I will say this, I'm not getting excited about it until we physically see something, until we hear something. I need to see what happens as far as this change is concerned. I will know change when I see it. I will know Triple H change when I see it. Now, I want to believe it, but it's going to be something along the lines of, I'll believe it when I see it. I don't think anybody should really be getting excited about this. So we'll see what happens when he takes over, if he takes over. That remains to be seen. But if there is change and you watch Tuesday night, it is going to be a slap in the face. You will know it when you see it. And when I see it, I will be sure to let you guys know. Speaking of Stephanie McMahon, she held a company meeting as far as her role as interim CEO. She addressed the Vince McMahon situation during an all-hands-on-deck company meeting. Now, this is coming from the Wrestling Observer newsletter as well. Stephanie held this backstage meeting, all-hands-on-deck company meeting yesterday, and Vince McMahon, the topic of discussion was brought up as well with his situation. He was addressed, and Stephanie said that everyone is aware that the board of directors is investigating her father and that he has stepped back as CEO and chairman of the board. Stephanie added that she loves her father and loves WWE and will do everything she can for the company in the days ahead. For what it's worth, while there's been speculation that, and I said this was the first thing I said, that Stephanie McMahon was the interim CEO in title only, and no real change will be done because Vince is still there running creative on Monday and Friday night, and with his power and influence backstage, he is still going to be the one running everything, the shit that we care about. And I honestly find it very difficult to believe that Stephanie McMahon is going to be running shit on her own without her father's say in anything. Stephanie needs to make a decision. I said it on the live stream. I think if Stephanie needs to make a decision, she will go to her father and ask, what should I do? And then Vince is going to make the decision, but Stephanie McMahon is the public figure in front of the board. The chairman of the board no longer is Vince McMahon, so Stephanie obviously needs to step there and be a spokesperson in front of the board of directors. That's the way I see it. But apparently, it's being stated by Meltzer and PW Insider that she's actively been involved in meetings that would usually see Vince get involved in, so it appears she is legitimately in charge. I don't think that really means anything. I mean, you're asking Stephanie to sit in on something that she needs to sit on. It's not like Vince can go and sit in on these fucking meetings. He's not the chairman of the board anymore. He stepped back. So him stepping back means that he has to remove himself from the situation until all of this is swept under the rug and Vince is cleared of all the charges. Vince can't be there, so obviously Stephanie McMahon has to be there. This is a ridiculous report. So to me, unless I physically see change and I hear about change and the swamp is being drained, nothing's going to change. Nothing is going to change. I don't care about the money WWE's bringing in. I don't care about corporate. I don't care about sponsors. I don't care about anything going on the corporate Wall Street side of things. I need to see change in the fucking company as far as what we see on Monday and Friday. And if nothing is done, then nothing is going to change. And nothing is going to change. There's nothing to talk about. Because that's the only part of this situation that we should care about. I don't give a fuck about how much money they're making. I care about you, I care about me, and I care about what happens on Monday and Friday, because what we have right now is just awful television. And if Vince is still there, that's all that we need to know. Nothing is going to change at all. Seeing that Bruce was head of talent relations, named head of talent relations, apparently Vince is still in charge. That's the only thing I could really tell you. This is not a Stephanie McMahon move. Stephanie McMahon did not promote Bruce Prichard to head of talent relations. If Stephanie really was in charge, Bruce would be gone. Bruce Prichard would be gone. She fired him once before, so why not again? There's no reason for this man to be backstage and hold this much power Monday, Friday, Tuesday, now head of talent relations. Holy fucking shit. Did Vince McMahon pay hush money to this fucking woman? $3 million? to have an affair with? Or was it Bruce Prichard? Seriously. Holy fucking shit. This man has more hats in the company than anyone I could ever remember. It's ridiculous how much power Bruce Prichard has. Bruce Prichard is the head of talent relations. This is not a Stephanie McMahon move. This is a Vince McMahon move. If you guys need any reason to realize and know why, Vince McMahon is still there, and if Vince McMahon's the CEO, there you go. He wants to remain in power. He wants his people to remain in power. When he gets back, those people are not moved and unchanged. So, if anything, those people are going to gain more power when he gets back because Vince wants to walk back into something that he's very comfortable and familiar with. If he walks into something that he doesn't know, and he's got people replacing his people, and all these and head of creative and all this other shit, he's not going to like that. That's not comfortable for Vince McMahon. He loves to surround himself with glorified yes men. Thought it was a fucking work, right? It's all a shoot, CM Punk. All a shoot, man. He loves to fucking surround himself with glorified fucking handy yes men. It's exactly what he's been doing. And that's why Bruce was promoted by Vince as head of talent relations. Meltzer is reporting that he did take over for Laurinaitis. Laurinaitis is fired. I don't give a shit what you say. Oh, he's not. He's fired. He's absolutely fired. He's not coming back. Meltzer reported in The Observer that talent was informed about the change on June 20. And Laurinaitis, who is now, they're claiming, on administrative leave, fired, was not backstage at SmackDown and was not backstage at Monday Night Raw. Meltzer noted the reaction to the change has been generally negative because Laurinaitis apparently had a better relationship with the talent than with Bruce Prichard. A couple of talents reportedly expressed negativity, citing Bruce Prichard as being generally quiet and not approachable. He's got the Vince McMahon complex about him. That's what happens when you work around Vince McMahon all these years. While Laurinaitis, believe it or not, is said to be very approachable and open to talking. One person reportedly called this move scary. That's awful. That is an awful environment to be in, just based on this report from Dave Meltzer. Prichard already, like I said, had a lot on his plate. Executive director of Monday Night, executive director of Friday Night. I know a lot of the talent don't even like him in that role because they pitch something, they want something. He is somebody that's not going to be available. And if he is, he doesn't give a shit because it doesn't fit with what Vince McMahon wants. And he only is there to do what Vince McMahon wants. He's only there to get across what Vince McMahon wants and needs. He doesn't give a shit about your concerns. He doesn't give a shit that you're not on television. He doesn't give a shit that your match is 3 minutes. He doesn't give a shit that you don't have any storyline or a bigger role on the show. He doesn't care. Bruce Prichard never cared. The only thing he cares about is his own position and his own standing in Vince McMahon's circle and making Vince McMahon happy. That is it. That is what I mean about draining the fucking swamp. You don't need people backstage like that. You need people that are going to unify the creative team and unify the roster. Then we will get a better product on television. If the fucking ideas are coming from one guy and going to Vince, that one guy being Bruce, nothing is going to present itself as new and fresh. And this is why we get Monday Night Raw sucking every fucking week. And Friday is worse than Monday. Nothing changes. The same fucking people on television. Nothing new. Nothing refreshing about the show. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. He's number 2 behind Vince McMahon. Number 2. And Bruce apparently is going to be taking time away for a torn rotator cuff. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. When Vince is not there, Bruce is running the show, and Bruce is going to run the show just like Vince McMahon. If Bruce is not there, it doesn't change. It doesn't change because it all goes through Bruce and Vince anyway. You take one out of the fucking equation, it doesn't matter. This is the fucking balance of power in the company. It's fucking Vince and what he wants, and everything underneath him is exactly going to give him what he wants. We don't need that. What a terrible fucking company. Creatively, what a terrible fucking company, man. I don't know how it is to be backstage at WWE knowing that this man is in charge and knowing that he's only getting more power and things are not going to change and somehow, possibly are on the verge of getting worse. Thank you guys very much for all your support. If you enjoyed this video, let me know. Comment down below. 1,000 likes on today's OTS Extra. No podcast this weekend. I'll be in Chicago. I'll be doing the meet and greet at the Ogden. Make sure you guys show up, 3:30 Central Time. We'll have some food. We'll have some whiskey. We'll hang out. I might have some merchandise being sold there as well that you guys can only get if you come to the meet and greet. Also, make sure you guys are aware I will be at the Forbidden Door show. I will be live streaming the post-show scrum, and the review will be on Monday instead of Sunday. So I want you guys to blow up the scrum, man. Last time we live streamed the scrum, we had over 5,000 people. So make sure you guys tune into that and make sure you guys are getting all your news coming out of Off the Script. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. And make sure you guys set notifications. SmackDown Rampage. I will be live after the shows tonight right here on Off the Script. Enjoy your Fridays, guys, and I'll see you live tonight on YouTube after SmackDown and Rampage. See you guys later.